Well, hello, everyone. It's me, Deplorable McAllister, aka Linda Paris. And I'm here with my very good friend, Delara Essengel, and we've been going over what we want to talk about today. And there's so much going on in Hollywood. Good right now. And Deloria is here to tell us a lot about it. How are you doing? Delora, I'm doing wonderful. Linda, how are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Well, we have our ups and our downs, but, yeah, I'm a lot better after talking to you and talking to Serge. I talked to Serge earlier today, so I feel pretty good. So Hollywood is not the same as it used to be, is it? No. Hollywood is never going to be the same again. And it's actually kind of nice watching it fall apart. Well, I noticed you said that people are going into hiding. Yeah. There's a lot of people that have been going into hiding. There's a lot of people that we don't know or hear about because they're not famous, quitting their jobs and hauling ass. They're headed for the hills. They're headed for remote areas. People are moving to Canada. I've heard people are leaving for Canada. I heard people are moving to remote areas of the United States because they're trying to hide. People are trying to leave the country. And these aren't good people. These are people that threatened to leave the country when POTUS won. But we were all waiting for them to. And maybe now it's time. Well, what's interesting about that is they're moving to Canada and other places, but perhaps they haven't read the US IMCA, which has really basically made Canada and all North America. They can't hide. No. And nothing can stop what is coming for them. And they won't a feces walking down the streets. Yes. So helicopters, you know. There's these I call them little knots because they don't look like the standard LAPD ghetto birds you see flying over the city, looking for the latest liquor store robbery or drive-by. These are little black, tiny helicopters. They look like little gnats. They capture eye. If you're somebody who's not totally sleeping and matrix out, they catch your eye in the sky because you're used to seeing certain types of helicopters, like you're used to seeing the Coast Guard. You're used to seeing regular helicopters fly in the air. You're used to seeing airplanes, and if you suddenly saw something that didn't look like it belonged, like, for example, we've been seeing drones in the last 1015 years because drone technology is more and more used. It catches your eye when it's a drone because you feel like it's not a plane. These catch your eye in the same way and you're like, wow, that thing is tiny. And they're all over the place. Like, there's not one day that's went by where I've left to drive on the law freeways or just whatever side streets. Doesn't matter where I haven't seen one of these things. I noticed every time I go out. A friend of mine who works with our military before I started seeing these things right about when I think I had mentioned it to him. He said, "Oh, yeah. Those are the ones we use in the exercises to land on the streets, on city streets." So I'm wondering if that's what these are because they're not going to announce that they're coming to take people away. They're going to do it when the perpetrator at least expects it. Or else what do we talk about? They're going to run. They're going to try to. Laura, I've heard the super soldiers talk about these TR-3s that they have that can cloak and make themselves look like a helicopter or a small plane or something. What is the TR-3, if you don't mind? It's one of those triangular. They talk about them all the time. Triangular craft. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, there's so much cloaking technology that's always been deployed upon our skies to keep us calm and not see the air traffic that goes on up there. Well, that's what everyone says. Gene Decode says that all the time. If you could really see what was there, you'd see that our skies are teeming with activity. I have had one experience where I was told there was going to be some kind of an event where the skies weren't going to be cloaked out of sheer curiosity to prove this person wrong. I went outside and looked in the sky that night, And this person was the source. And Linda, let me tell you, the sky was teeming with activity. You could see all sorts of crazy lights that were swishing across the sky, moving and zooming at speeds that I can't even explain, in ways that not even a shooting star could be. So it's the truth. And there are some very good footage that we shared previously from Bill Tompkins, where he shows Draco ships in the sky over Carlsbad. I have a book and it's called UFOs or Hostile. I think it was written in the 60s. It documents all of these. So when you say all kinds of things are in the sky and stuff like that, that's happened before, where people have seen all different kinds of light shows in the sky, and usually they blow it off. They'll wait, like 20 years later, and doing unsolved mysteries about it. And, of course, did they really see the light? They always just push it back and then they have the debunker on there. But this UFOs are hostile. There is no mistaking these reports. They saw ships, and some of them were approached and attacked and chased. And some of these are even in police reports all over the world. Well, we have the famous Battle of Los Angeles in 1042, right? They can't hide it. So they try to say, oh, Wiki tries to say it's a rumor to talk and whatever. Well, I've heard New York City is one of the places where they have the most abductions. So how do they do that if they can't cloak their devices? Also, even if there were lights in New York City in the sky, all they'd have to do is have it on the news the next day. Go. Oh, it was a promotional stunt by a new restaurant that's opening in the city, and it went wrong or something like that. They always come up with a lie, right? There's nothing they can't lie their way out of, there really isn't. They will look at you with a straight face and a smile on their face, calming you down with all the sincerity of someone who is well-meaning. And they will lie like you have never seen that. The absolute utter nonsense comes out of their mouth and they don't even blink their eyes. It's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. Well, that's all they know how to do. And that's really how they've taken over humanity and enslaved us. Is everything you know has been a lie. And like Linwood said, all lies will be revealed. But the choice to know the depth of those lies is up to the individual. Well, I'm speaking about reptilians, although you didn't. Did you like the way that I liked the way that I sort of segue that conversation around anyway? It's not hard to believe they're reptilians because this lying. It's like they have no conscience about it. They're proud of their lying. It's like a weapon to them. They feel no remorse about it or anything like that. They're proud of it. They grin. They laugh. They sit back and lie. Who does that? It's just such an inhuman trait. I think it goes hand in hand with the snout. Well, I think snout goes hand in hand with the nub. Yeah. And Delara's description of Hollywood. And I know you said something about they're doing low-paying jobs now, but they do all not look good. Well, first of all, let me confirm to you that they all look like hags. They look like old hags. And I'll tell you why they look like hags. They don't have their adrenochrome supply anymore, right? So they look like shit. They've always looked like crap. But now they look like that old. Was it a fairy tale or some horrible children's story? That was probably Cabal. And I know it was the old woman that lived in a shoe and she had so many kids. She didn't know what to do. That one or Hansel and Gretel. They look like, well,